Season kicks off this weekend, so I guess it's now the proper time to make our season predictions public. We usually make predictions, not every single prediction we make public, but now this is the time. And we will start with who believe will be the best either signing or transfer for this upcoming 2023 Major League Soccer season.
All right, I'm going for, excuse me if I butcher the name right now, Steve Buick. LAFC's 20-year-old wonder kid. I should say wonder boy, because he was actually in the shortlist for the Golden Boy Award. He's a 20-year-old attacking player, Croatian-born. Now listen, LAFC has a penchant for turning these players, young, fast, dynamic players, into productive players. Danny Musovski, Henderson, Nevada. Corey Baird came from Real Salt Lake, was very good, and then moved him on. Opoku, these type of players, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I don't think they can do the same with a player who was worldly renowned at 20 years old in Europe. So I think he's got a big future, and I think John Thornton, again, a very good signing.
Yeah, if anything has giving us the right idea about LAFC is they know the players to sign, especially when they're young. All right, here's my pick. And I have the scouting report. Martín Ojeda, Orlando City, 24-year-old Argentinian, talented left foot, versatile player, usually starts playing on the left-hand side, but can also play from the right wing, even from the middle. Now, pay attention to these numbers. No other player created more scoring opportunities than him in Argentina's first division. 13 goals, 14 assists, and that's playing for Godoy Cruz. The moment you talk about a player with this kind of stats, at that rhythm of a league like Argentina, I believe this is a great signing for a team that needed some kind of help in the last third of the field.
Yeah,
I like this signing a lot. Martín Ojeda, keep an eye on him.
Yeah, Godoy Cruz, that would be Fasi run team, right?
No.
No?
That would be Talleres.
Talleres. You're right about that.
All right, we move on. Who we believe will be the next European export from MLS?
This one is easy. Listen, there's going to be a few exports. When you're talking about big exports, potential just being a big player, big signing, Jordi Petrovic comes to mind. The Serbian goalkeeper, 23 years old, good frame, New England Revolution, already one of the best goalkeepers in Major League Soccer, 6'4" frame. Ridiculous instincts, reflexes, and already hot on his trail, Manchester United. He's going to be the next one out. Big player coming out of Major League Soccer who can make waves.
Yeah, he's a great goalkeeper. I'm going to go with a very familiar name as well, and someone who it wouldn't be the first time that has been linked to a move to a European club, and that is Jose Cifuentes from LAFC. We already stated how they're great at scouting young players. This would be his fourth season with LAFC. 3 outstanding seasons so far. Played in the World Cup. Yeah. 23 years old. And when you are a player that was developed the way he did, becoming crucial for LAFC, he can do everything. He scores, he assists, he can dribble, he plays box to box. I think it's just matter of time until Jose Cifuentes makes his way to Europe out of Major League Soccer.
I don't think I'm the only one in this boat, but I'm surprised he's still here.
Yeah.
The word was this offseason he was going to.
He already had a couple of opportunities.
Yeah, so I'm with you. He's definitely bound.
Yeah, the team probably just waiting for a better offer. Now, this is going to be a good one. Golden Boot, top scorer in Major League Soccer 2023 for Herculez.
Hani Mukhtar! Hani, get paid! Hani, get paid! Listen, he's my pick for MVP. Usually, if Hani Mukhtar is in the mix for MVP, he's also in the mix for Golden Boot. That's how it works. He's going to score his goals. I don't care what you think of Nashville and how they play under Gary Smith, who, by the way, congrats, Gary, just signed an extension 2-year deal, so he will be there for a while, and Hani will be the focal point of that system. He's going to get his goals. He's going to get his stats. That man will be in the running for the Golden Boot, and he's my pick.
Current MVP of the league. All right, I think I touched on this a little bit on Monday's show, but I'm committing even more to my pick for Golden Boot 2023 Major League Soccer. Javier Chicharito Hernandez. 2021 season, started 20 games, scored 17 times. 2022 season, started 31 games, scored 18 goals. That was a low season for him. This is a contract year for Javier Hernandez. He has better help this year. The partnership with Ricky Puig is working fantastic, even though some pundits didn't believe it was going to be like that. Big question is, can Chicharito stay healthy? He's not going to start healthy this season. That's also correct. But my guess is the fact that he publicly stated that he wants to stay past his contract with the LA Galaxy, that's going to force him to have an even better season than what he had last year. When healthy, he's the best goal scorer in Major League Soccer.
Oh, Hani Mukhtar and Drusi would like a word. The problem for me isn't health, it's supporting cast. And right now, he's without wingers, without the supporting cast. They won't have any summer signings, so what you see is what you get right now to start off the season. That's, for me, his biggest crutch, if you will, or the biggest thing hampering him. But he's a proven goal scorer, that is for sure.
Oh, yeah. Moving on, now to the not-so-positive. The Wooden Spoon Award, the worst team of the season will be...
I hate to pick on St. Louis, but it's going to be St. Louis, and I don't want to hear that it's an expansion team, so you should cut him a break, give him some slack. That's not how it works. I feel you have an advantage if you're an expansion team, but listen, they're not a team that went out there and spent on star power. Their model is different. They've actually modeled it almost in the Red Bull way in that image. And with the Red Bull way, that image comes a few lumps in the road. The playing style is very demanding. This is a team that I feel, from what I've seen in the preseason, that they I believe they didn't win one single game in preseason, dies out towards the end of those games, and those teams take advantage of them. They're going to take their lumps. They're going to learn what this is about, maybe a la Austin, and then find their form the second season. But that's my wooden spoon pick.
I was going to go with St. Louis as well. I just didn't want to repeat your answer.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to go with Houston Dynamo. Houston Dynamo, they have been really disappointing since the 2019 season. And it seems like the team is in a constant rebuild. General managers come and go. Again, a new manager, a new head coach for the team. They do have young talent, but that is not enough. And so far, every time we believe this is the year that they're gonna take off and be better, we end up being very, very disappointed. Hector Herrera is naturally the player that has to play at a top level. If this team wants to take a step forward, big problem with Hector Herrera is he was barely available last season. So if he's not available, the team really feels his absence. So that's my pick. Again, I believe it's going to be St. Louis. I just wanted to go in a different direction. That's why I'm picking Houston Dynamo.
I'm not touching Houston because they're an enigma. There are so many incoming players, so many players they let go, didn't pick up the options. Darwin Quintero's no longer there. Tim Parker, Memo Rodriguez, et cetera, et cetera. New coach, you got to give Ben Olsen some time to work. I don't feel they'll be at the bottom to be in this fighting position for the wooden spoon. I'll just say that.
All right, LAFC won the Supporters Shield last season and went all the way to win the title. Who do you believe will win the Supporters Shield in 2023?
I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Union. Come on down. This is a tried and proven team. Tried and proven system, hardworking players, dynamic on the wings, box-to-box midfielders, good experience, Alejandro Bedoya, some very good goal scorers in the mix, who have added stability, have added more defensive depth, if you will, Damian Lowe. You also have players who come in there who can do some very good things like Joaquin Torres, and it's the manager. It's Jim Curtin, how much I believe in Jim Curtin. I feel this team, granted, there's always this stretch where teams suffer if you're in a double tournament like they will be in CONCACAF Champions League, but I don't think Philly's going to suffer that much, and they've been here before. They're my pick for the Supporters Shield.
All right, so I'm going to go on a limb here. I'm not saying I'm 100% sold on my pick.
Right.
But I just wanted to bring something different to the table.
Okay.
One of the biggest disappointments of the 2022 season was Toronto FC. It was a big letdown because they have big names in the coaching staff.
Towards the end, they had big names.
On the field. Exactly. That's the key right there. Towards the end, the team made some key signings. So I believe after finishing 13th in the Eastern Conference last season, Toronto FC has enough to be the biggest surprise in recent memory and end the regular season as the #1 team in the country and winning the Supporters Shield. How crazy does that sound?
In their country, probably they will be the top team. In Major League Soccer, I don't know. They will be fighting, that's for sure.
They will be fighting, yeah.
Biggest turnaround?
Probably better.
If I had to pick the biggest turnaround, I would bet on Toronto FC. You've got a very proven coach in Bob Bradley, some very experienced players in Michael Bradley, Lorenzo Insigne, Bernardeschi. Sean Johnson, the goalkeeping position was maybe an enigma. You added Matt Hedges. There's some stability to that spine. This is a very interesting team.
Yeah, I really like Bernardeschi. I know all the spotlight were with Insigne, but Bernardeschi was, first of all, he was
more productive.
Surprised that he signed with the team. No, at his age, right? And he was very, very productive. And he really enjoyed his time playing in Major League Soccer. All right, 2 for 1 now. The matchup for the MLS Cup and who will win it? Who will win it all in the 2023?
Well, I'm actually going repeat with my matchup. I'm going Philly is going to be there, and it's going to be against LAFC. Now, I've spoken about Philly and how good and the stability that they have. Let me 1 second focus on LAFC. LAFC may have lost a few names, arguably the most influential players for MLS Cup, Chicho Arango, in your ability to get there, and Gareth Bale, who single-handedly saved the game for you and took it to penalty kicks. Lost those 2 players. But they're very savvy in the way they pick players up and the way they try to rebuild and replace. I've already spoken about Stipe Buick and what he could do. Danil Maldonado, Aaron Long, Timothy Tillman, the brother of Malik Tillman, U.S. men's national team player. Some smart little pickups. And John Thorrington, this is what he does. He lives for this. I'm not convinced this is the team right now that we will see come at MLS Cup time. You're not fooling me, John Thorrington. I know he has something up his sleeve, and come summer, there's going to be a big signing or 2 that reinforce this team, so I feel they will be there. But they're going to get there. Doesn't mean they're going to win it. I'm all in on Philly this year. I really think it's the Union's time. I think Jim Curtin's time.
Well, they were very close.
Bedoya going to lift that cup. The Gazdag, they've got some very interesting players, a very good defensive duo. That midfield with El Brujo and Bedoya is among the best in the league. I'm all in on Philly this year.
They were just a few seconds away, actually, for winning it all last season. I like Philadelphia a lot. So my matchup, I'm going to go with LAFC. I'm not going to repeat a lot of things you said, but I believe the fact that Carlos Vela staying put, the fearless leader, I know he's not going to score the same amount of goals or give the same amount of assists. LAFC will play Orlando City. I already talked about Martín Ojeda, Ramiro Enriquez, another young Argentinian player that will be very, very productive. I believe Orlando has the weapons, the attack good enough to make it all the way. Backline, still a big question mark. But I'm sold on LAFC's project and the way they build the team. Yes, they are going to suffer without Chicho Arango. Gareth Bale was good whenever he needed to be good. But Chicho Arango was very, very consistent. I think they're going to miss him.
Yeah, Boanga picked it up towards the end of the season. What I will say on Orlando is very interesting because it's Orlando Open Cup champion versus your previous MLS Cup champion. So interesting there. I'm not sold on Oscar Pareja to win a title, like an important title, but I do think he builds a very good model.
All right, those are our predictions for next season starting this weekend. Before we move on the show on Monday, we presented from The Athletic an interview they had with Phil Neville, Inter Miami's manager. Some quotes regarding the league, his perception after not knowing exactly the playoff format. Turns out Inter Miami banned The Athletic from the immediate media session they held after those comments were published. What do you make of it?
Let me tell you how just weak it makes Major League Soccer look. Forget about Inter Miami. That makes them look incredibly weak, but Major League Soccer. And it puts a lot of friends and colleagues that I have who now work at Apple or Major League Soccer because they're paid by Major League Soccer in a very precarious position. It threatens their credibility. The league needs to take action because what you're trying to say here, if you don't take action, is you're on board with censorship of the media. And it's very important that the league is covered in a very fair and valid way. And by the way, Phil Neville didn't say anything wrong.
No.
In fact, the article in The Athletic made me think he was praising the league and that he liked being in the league and that he wanted to see the league continue to grow and succeed. But to do this gives everybody in the outside world the impression that this is still amateur hour.
The most important thing, everything Phil Neville said was on the record. Every single word was on the record. And as a club, when a media outlet publishes anything that was said on the record, you have zero right to criticize those media members. They did their job. They were actually promoting the league, not them. Phil Neville was. So yeah, it's a disgraceful act, and they should correct it as soon as possible. I was told to say talking about disgraceful, but I'm not going to say it because he barely sleeps nowadays.
He does barely sleep.
Seb is not here, but he presented her
and Keely.
He's MLS predictions, just what we did. And here we go. Best transfer or signing, Evander to Portland Timbers. How do you like it? Real quick.
It's funny because I knew when we interviewed Evander that Sebi took a liking to him. But I know this much. That's interesting. Okay.
All right. Under Gio Savares said, next European export, John Tolkien.
Yeah, John Tolkien's already rated one of the best players in his age group in the world. So, I could see this easily.
Chucho Hernandez was a great addition for Columbus. That's actually a very good pick for Golden Boot. Wooden Spoon, DC United. And look at this.
He's such
Supporter Shield. Oh, wait. He has MLS Cup champion Orlando City. My guy, Seth. My guy. Good for you.
You should be worried. That's worse than the Pedroza Mufa.
No way.
Yes.
No way. There's nothing worse than the
Pedroza Mufa, the Sebi jinx.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.